you think that it is possible, right, to communicate emotions through mediated touch techniques, right? Whatever interfaces, displays, whatever you call them, wearables. So there is such a possibility, right? People can perceive emotions through some actuation, or it's not yet there.
Yeah.
And the second question is that what is the best way to do that, right? So if you look at this haptic language roughly, right, there are two ways, kind of. One way is to render real touch sensations, let's say caress on a hand or a tap on a shoulder, right, to make it as real as possible, or create some sort of arbitrary haptic messages, so-called haptic icons, right, that can also have specific parameters into it, like frequency, amplitude, etc., that can map to a specific emotional, affective response. So do you think the best way is to render real touch, or haptic icons can also be a way of communicating emotions?
I'd say yes for both of them. Remote touch is going to have to get simplified in some fashion, and the actuators are certainly going to have to be a simplified version of human touch because it's too complicated. The skin to skin contact involves temperature, deformation of the skin, humidity, wetness of the skin, and all those details convey, important properties. But an actuator that's going to do all of those things is going to be really hard to develop. I think there's efforts that people are undertaking in that direction though right now. Maybe people are using pneumatic mechanisms, maybe people are using skin stretch, people are using brushes, and a lot of approaches like that. And I see value in the other ones that you mentioned as well, more abstract, not so realistic approaches. My guess is it's going to be somewhere in between until we get something viable. I view where I can contribute in terms of understanding how to quantify those interactions. And then I think that there needs to be a filter on those at some point to figure out which ones do we focus on, what ranges can we do, and so forth.
Basically, what are the most important ones, right, that can actually be reproduced using actuation technology, right? And which one of those are the most effective in achieving the effect we want, right?
Yeah. But I don't think we're that far away, actually, from some of those becoming reality. I mean, I've seen several works in the last couple of years. I can give some examples, like, for example, Heather Culbertson and Alison Okamura had some work where they're using discrete vibrotactile actuators, and they look at propagation down the arm, where one actuator is turned on and then the next one at a certain latency and then the next one at a certain latency. I've seen that same group use pneumatic and hydraulic mechanisms as well, where they basically got kind of balloons and they're inflating the balloons and structures like that. I've seen a number of people in Kai in that community doing things with kind of a brush, like an actuated brush sort of. And then I think that there's people doing things with heat as well, and a sense of temperature. And I think temperature is underrated. I think temperature is very important, and I think that the wetness, I think that's underrated, but that's a very important factor as well.
Right, that's hard, right? How can you imagine production of wetness in a way? Very interesting stuff, actually, that you're talking about, because it touches upon not only fundamental elements, but it's also about technology, right? How advanced can it be? And all of this stuff is prototypes, right? I mean, the main daily use of haptics, I would say, for a lane user is actually a mobile phone, right? Which has just one simple actuator, moving up and down. I mean, it's a more advanced one, or like just try, like, going in circles, even more rudimentary one.